Hey, it's Joshua, room 20, still in the cost wing. We have decided to rent, and we have learned how to price the rental. This room is about something simpler and somehow even easier to get wrong. Not overbuying the thing itself, buying a box that is the right size and putting each piece of data on the shelf that actually matches how you use it.
There are two kinds of quiet waste, and almost everyone is bleeding gently from both of them. The first, renting a grand ballroom for a book club of 6, a machine 4 times bigger than the job will ever use, with every empty seat billed to you every single month. The second, keeping a tax receipt from 9 years ago on the very same gold-plated instant access shelf as today's front page news. Nobody has asked for that receipt since 2017, and yet you are paying premium rent on it every single day. Still the cost wing. We chose to rent and we priced the promise. This room is about not overbuying the thing itself. Right size the room and put every piece of data on the shelf that matches how you truly use it. So picture 2 shelves in your library. The hot shelf, right at the front desk. Instant to reach, but expensive to keep. That is for what people ask for every single day. And the deep archive in the cheap basement across town. Slow to retrieve, but very nearly free to keep. That is for what almost no one ever asks for. And the real art is not picking one, it is matching. Today's bestseller goes on the hot shelf. The old receipt goes to the basement. And a smart library quietly moves things down as they cool. And both of these wastes come from the very same lazy reflex. Buy big and then never look again. You provision the giant instance just to be safe, and it runs at 10% forever while you pay for 100. You drop every last byte onto the fastest, priciest storage so it is always ready. And now you are paying front desk rent on a warehouse of data that nobody ever touches. Nothing is broken, it all works. You are simply, quietly overpaying every hour for headroom and speed you are not using. 2 moves fix it. The first is right sizing. You match the resource to the actual measured load. You watch the utilization, and then you shrink the over-provisioned thing down to the size the job truly needs. And you grow it again only when the numbers tell you to. The second is tiering. You put data on the storage class that fits its access pattern. Hot data on the fast, dear storage, cold data on the cheap, slow storage. And you set lifecycle rules that migrate it down, all on their own as it ages and cools. But the cheap shelf is not free. It is a bet. You are wagering that you will hardly ever ask for this again. Win the bet and your rate drops. Lose it and a retrieval fee claws the discount right back. So the cheap shelves charge a minimum stay. 30 days for standard 1A, 90 for the Glacier tiers, 180 for deep archive. Put a 2-week file down there and you still pay the full minimum. The cheaper shelf just cost you more. And the basement is not an ordinary read either. You have to ask for it back and then wait. Pay for the size and the speed that you actually use, not the size and the speed you might one day use. Here's the keeper. Push every workload to the cheapest resource that still meets its requirement. Right size to your real usage and tier your data by how often it is actually touched. Because over-provisioning and over-fast storage are a waste you pay for forever. The largest box and the fastest shelf both feel safe, but safe here just quietly means expensive. The labels are the stickers. Right sizing, over-provisioning, storage classes, lifecycle policies, tiering. In the cloud, you right-size your machines to their real measured load. You move objects across the storage classes, standard for hot, standard IA for cooler, and 3 Glacier tiers, priced by the weight. Instant, minutes to hours, or about 12. Lifecycle rules do it automatically, or intelligent tiering moves them for you. 2 postures. Buy big forever. 1 size, the largest for everything, the fastest storage for every single byte. It is simple and it feels safe, and it is constantly overpaying for headroom you never use and data you never touch. Or right-sized and tiered. Each workload on the smallest box that holds its load. Each byte on the cheapest shelf that meets its access need. An automatic migration as things cool. More attention, yes, but real savings. It is the very same, by exactly what the requirement needs. Discipline from least privilege, now spent on dollars. So the exam shows the mismatch. Instances sitting consistently at 10% CPU, and you must reduce the cost? Right-size them down to a smaller type. Data accessed daily for 30 days, then rarely, but it must be kept for 7 years? An S3 lifecycle policy, walking it down the ladder as it ages. And an access pattern that is simply unpredictable. Optimize the storage cost automatically? That is intelligent tiering. No retrieval fees, no minimum stay. You pay a small monitoring fee instead for not knowing. The tell is always a mismatch. A big box barely used, or cold data sitting on hot storage. And the trap. Temporary files. Short-lived logs. Anything kept for less than a month. That is standard every time. The cheap shelf bills you for 30 days, whether you stay or not, so cheaper per gigabyte is simply the more expensive answer.
Your turn. Out loud or just in your head. I'll wait. A company stores years of log files in S3. Standard, the fast tier, so they are always available. But in reality, those logs are queried heavily for about a month, and then almost never. Though they must be kept for 7 years for compliance. What is the waste tier, and what is the fix?
They are paying hot, front desk prices to store 7 years of cold data that nobody ever reads. After that first month, those logs are basement material, sitting on the gold shelf. And the fix is an S, 3-point lifecycle policy. It transitions the objects from standard to infrequent access after about 30 days, and then to Glacier for the long compliance tail. The very same data, the very same durability, at a tiny fraction of the cost. Put the old receipt in the basement. So, we rent instead of own. We price the promise. And we right-size and tier. Every room of this wing, so far, has been about playing the price list well, picking the cheaper option off a menu. But the biggest cost decisions you will ever make are not on the menu at all. They are baked into the very shape of the system. A single choice made on a whiteboard can dwarf every coupon you will ever clip. The last room. Why the bill is written in the architecture. One breath to seal it. Do not rent a ballroom for a book club. And do not store an old receipt on the gold shelf. Right-size to your real usage. Tier your data by how often it is touched, and let it migrate down if it will stay down. Pay for the size and the speed you actually use, the right room and the right shelf.
That is right-sizing and storage tiers. The right room and the right shelf, 20 rooms down. I'm Joshua. I'll see you in the next one.